Hello, coming in to do our weekend channel message. We're in the last few days of October, heading into the Halloween weekend. The Samhain is coming up. Like there's just so much energy. The veil is so thin. And so this is time when, you can really, truly feel spirit world. You can feel that essence of, so, our spirit world is so always this close to us because ultimately we're spirit. So we are able to connect into our own spirit essence. There is something magical that awakens when people start to get back into childlike energy. So knowing Halloween parties are coming, the excitement of creating a Halloween costume, all of those things. What we don't realize on the other side of that is there is an excitement, an enthusiasm, a rise in our own energetic energy within us. And so we can feel that rise. And so that when we are in that energy, that's why we connect into spirit world better. Or there is that sense of enthusiasm for the darkness, for the spooky, for the visibility of mask and shadows, and people can dress as they feel. And sometimes that's the sides of us that we don't even know, or that we secretly like about ourselves and don't even know how to be that. So, for example, you see a lot of men dress as women. Maybe it is their feminine side that they actually love, and there's an enjoyment of getting to dress like that. And it's the one time of the year, and the rest of the year they're not courageous enough to be in that feminine side, or vice versa. Or it's when you get to be the dinosaurs that you want to be, the unicorns, the monsters, the everything. And so it is something of where we get to be in our so-called make-believe world, but we exist in a make-believe world. We create this world. We create the life, the images. We exist in our suffering stories and our joy stories and our happy stories. And there's so many things that play out. And so when we can be connected to our own essence of our own spirit, our own self, we are also then able to definitely connect to spirit world on a deeper level, like a more knowing that it exists out there. It's like we're waiting for the creepy crawl, we're waiting for the things to appear. But in the meantime, spirit is always that close. I just want to say, spirit is always that near to us. It's always that dear to us. We always have that connection. But we're also in a transition in months. So we're going from October to November. We've had a lot of sunshine, and now we're starting to go into like the end of harvest season and starting to prepare for winter season when things start to freeze. So we're getting ready for a freeze. So these are the times when we can experience. So this weekend, all into next week, it feels like the energy is that, experiencing the last of everything that we have harvested throughout our lifetimes, that we're now ready to finally just either say goodbye to, surrender over, to acknowledge, and then going into that freeze and letting things kind of be dormant underneath the ground. So some things go dormant, some things we won't see again. We put away all of our, summer stuff, all of our fall stuff, all the things we've been stretching out and holding on to, including emotions. So the old stories that we've been stretching, holding on to, I just feel like there's like finally we're able to say some goodbyes. And then we shift into new seasons. We shift into new changes. And we also are a little more silent, a little more quiet within. Now, that doesn't mean the energy goes silent and quiet. That's not what it means at all. It's ultimately that we do, and that we also have to, sometimes spend some time being quiet ourselves. And for myself, one of the things that I've just finished saying to my partner in everything in my life, in business and spiritual and all those things, when I just finished saying to Lisa, like, I really don't know what else I have left to teach. I don't really know if I have anything else to say. And I know what that means for me. I know that, I'm teaching one class. I have a class that's coming up that I'm teaching that is going on for 22 weeks, but that's a part of my brand, my program. In messages that I have to come through. And I know that means that I'm going to have to spend some time going dormant, going dark, like not being visible, not being so active in promoting and teaching anything new for maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks, maybe a month. I don't know, but I trust the flow now. And the reason why is I have to kind of make space inside of myself, be silent with all that I have been experiencing over the past year or the past couple years, and wait for new teachings, wait for new wisdom to come in, because it cannot be created from me. It is the essence of you. They take my stories as I heal, the energy, the energetic charge is gone, and then they're just experiences that they're able to add light to and love to, and then amplify it into something that can be created into a story. Or it is the ability for me to be able to hone into the energy of the beings that's out there, and something that's larger than life, and to be able to communicate the language of the frequency of the energy. It's the only way I give words to it. And I just heard somebody kind of like, trying to kind of be condescending to higher, lower vibrational frequency, and trying to add the science into it. And I'm like, we just need language, and that's all we do. It's like we just need language, and it's just language for us. It's just a way to be able to get out what we don't even know. That doesn't even have human words that are even, because human words have a vibrational energy to them. It just falls flat compared to what we experience in the living from that place of being so connected to the divine and to the divine light. So this weekend and where we are in the energy is truly about, it's truly about fun. There is some fun, and just kind of having some fun and letting go. But it's also, on the other side of that, is also having great respect for people who are not in that same energy, that not everybody is into what you're into. Not everybody is as enthusiastic and as excited about things the same way you are. And you may be experiencing this right now as a highlighted energy in relationships, whether it's friendships or in, sexual partnerships, or in like long-term marriages or long-term relationships, long-term friendships, that you're really noticing the differences, noticing the, where, you may find this fun and exciting, but somebody else doesn't, or somebody else may just be kind of like, okay, just go with the flow. But it is a visible thing within relationships right now, to be able to, that you're noticing the areas where you're not in sync, the areas where, somebody might think something is not such a big deal, but it is a big deal to you, where things that you find exciting, they may not find exciting, that it's bringing awareness to the areas in our lives where, all relationships are not that we are the perfect match for each other. We may blend to each other. We may work in sync. We may be in alignment to each other to a certain degree, but there's always areas where there is misalignments. There is also misinterpretations. There's also a difference in communication. So if you and somebody were having a written communication about an experience that you've previously had discussion about, and you'd previously talked about, and you knew you had that discussion about all the other details, and then all of a sudden, the only thing that you sent in a message or a text was things about one specific thing, and then you shared wisdom and information on that, and whatever that may be, but it didn't mean that was like the be all end all. There may have been a whole nother narrative, a whole nother story that went with that. And so if the one person then comes in who didn't hear the rest or didn't know the rest, then whatever they have feeling inside of themselves, whatever is their own shame, their own guilt trip, their own denial, their own energy, their own hurts, their own everything, they will read into that experience. And so being aware of that, and knowing that that sometimes causes us even more disalignment than there needs to be. Whereas open communication leaves room for us to be able to speak about the things of where we are not able to connect properly, communicate properly, or see things the same way. We may have a totally different view. We may have gotten two different stories. So you may have been in two different experiences. You may have experienced something similar, but in two different ways. So not everyone is going to be going to be dancing to your music, dancing to your joy that you may be feeling. But it's not for you to lose that. is for you to understand that, for you to get that, and to just allow people the space to be who they need to be, but also to communicate through why, you're going to do what you're doing. And these always comes up on times often of when you see people going to parties, when you see people going out, or you see people either being a part of, say, like just to say Halloween weekend. And some people are petrified of Halloween. Some people are scared to death of Halloween. Some people are not into it. Some people don't believe in it, and others believe in it. Others are totally into it. Others are just, right? And so instead of like, what's wrong with you? How come you can't be involved in this? Why can't you be there? And so instead of doing that, just say, okay, thank you for, I value and respect you enough to honor what it is that you want to do, or what you're connected to, but giving space. So giving space, having understanding, having compassion, those type of things are very much on the forefront in this energy of this weekend. What else do we have? Overlooking. What have we been overlooking? So sometimes we've been so busy in trying to just like get by or doing all kinds of things that we are overlooking key elements in our lives, key things that affect our lives, impacts our lives, and we're not really paying attention, and we're overlooking things. So I'm seeing there's like areas where kind of going back and like a fine-tooth comb, going over, receipts, maybe missed payments, missed bills, maybe things that have not been fully completed, done. Check those things out, get those things in check, clean up that energy, kind of it's like cleaning up the yard before snow falls, right? Before there's a fresh blanket of snow and then you don't see it, or you miss it altogether, and then you got to have the after effects of it later. This is the time, the energy right now to fix that up, do those things, clean up that energy, fix that within your life, and do those things as well. Pay attention, because you ultimately are the one that either which way you are responsible. And that's in the energy for this coming weekend. And let me just see. So I have the unveiling, I have Scarlet. And for me, Scarlet is the energy of kind of like having to look over her shoulder to make sure that it's okay to remove this hood. And so it's like, if she kind of represents that, to me, it's almost like, whether it's like the devil or the angel, right? It's like she's looking over her shoulder. She's looking over her shoulder to make sure she is safe so that she can unveil her beautiful golden self, her truth. And so she is in that energy of finally being free, of feeling as if she has been held captive. And this is Ruthie. And Ruthie is the medicine woman. And I feel like this is healing and, the light in the dark. And sometimes we have to go to the depths of our darkness, or we have been there. And now you're finding yourself, coming up, finding your sense of identity. This is Davina. She's coming up. You don't need to put on, this is performer. You don't want to wear a mask. You're tired of hiding, and you want to be able to let yourself shine again, let yourself out, but you still have the energy and the mistrust because of unkind people, because of energy that just was not very nice that came in. And so she's that sense of, she knows she wants to, but she's cautious. She's aware of the world. She's aware of what is possible. She's aware of the shadows in people. She's aware of the good, bad, and the ugly. And so she knows the good, bad, and the ugly, and she knows the journey, but she's ready to truly take off the defensive, the defending energy, or the protection or hiding. She's tired of hiding. And so this also coming in through and beyond this weekend is about unmasking, unveiling, revealing your new truth to you. And sometimes new truth comes with just having to either fully surrender, fully let go. Sometimes it comes with a F you. And other times it comes with turning that reflection back around and reflecting back on other people and saying, it's not me you need to look into. You need to look into you. What did you contribute? What did you do? And just finally being able to say that to people sometimes. And it's like, stop taking so much shit in a relationship or in the world for shit that you didn't do, for stuff that you are not responsible for walking on eggshells, for walking on glass, for constantly feeling like you have to be fearful of every word, every step, every thought, that this is the opening and the beginning of something that's opening. I can feel the power coming back in. I can feel the energy of just saying, no, I will not be the reflection of the narrative of the story of your shit, about what you did, about what you contributed, about all of those things, or about what somebody else did themselves to themselves. You are not responsible for somebody else's action. And so this is you now, as we move forward, this is us now, not every one of us, but some people out there in the energy, that this is your energy right now. This is where you are. It's like you're taking off the mask. You're no longer you're no longer taking the high road, right? You're no longer having to hide. You're no longer having to keep yourself hidden. You have done the healing. You have taken responsibility where you need to. You've done your work. You know you're imperfectly perfect. And here's your little golden wings. And, it's like still keeping what is sacred to you, revealing your beauties, revealing your ahs, knowing that you're golden, no matter where you've been. You could have done probably some shitty things in your life. Maybe you didn't live the most perfect, most beautiful life. That don't mean you're not a worthy human being who no longer deserves to live a good life because you've had a past or you've made a mistake. F that. This is now taking off the veil. This is about revealing. This is being done looking over your shoulder. This is about revealing this self, and you don't have to show the world. It's to you. But the difference is you are no longer a mirror reflection to somebody else. And that's going to be the change that is unfolding with this, is that if I'm going to dress up as anything this weekend, I'm going to dress up as me, and I'm going to be me, and I'm going to let myself be seen as me, and that me may be the archetype of stepping into a new archetype of role, not one that's over here in the traumas, in the survival and all of those things, but one that's in the thriving, one that's in that sense of knowing joy and satisfaction, the innovator energy, that sense of sage energy, that sense of like the cheerleader energy, being, whatever that is that you want to be, that is over here saying, I didn't ask you if you liked it. And I'm not going to be hiding me anymore. And so the unveil it, she is Scarlet. She's very aware of the darkness. And I also want to be, really bring this up. Envy, jealousy, hatred is hexing. So if you call yourself a good person, or if somebody else does that to you, I'm the good person and you're not, and they constantly keep bringing that story in, and they're so envious, they're so jealous, or they're so full of hatred, and they don't even know who you are. Like they've had that one experience with you in life, or they've had that, one time, but that's an old version of you. Then, hey, you know what? All of that has an impact, because thoughts go out there and thoughts become reality. And so when you see somebody out there that's really, truly hurting and suffering, and you think, I'm a good person, but your thoughts, your words, your inner self, or what you're saying behind the person's back is having an impact. So be aware of that. Be aware of where that happens. Be aware of that language that's happening, because this is about, us now leveling up in the world. When we go cocooning now, when we go into the freeze, when we go into that place, we got time to start to spiritually, emotionally mature, to grow, to evolve, to grow in our relationships, but sometimes to also know when it's time to say enough. And so some people may be making a new entrance into the world, and the entrance they're making into the world, there may be people that will not be coming through that door with them, will not be coming through that gate with them, will not be walking beside them. And that's a part of the journey. That's a part of the essence, that when we evolve, not everything makes it through evolution. Look at the dinosaurs. Some made it to evolve into something more. Some had great skills. Others didn't make it. And they became the fossils. They became the wisdom. They became something else that we learned. They also then became a part of a new creation, a new evolution. They evolved in another way. They became a part of everything that then was a part of the soil, part of the earth. And so when you look at it in different perspectives and different views, and you see things differently, is that you start to be able to open your mind, open your heart, so that you can walk around not having to wear a mask. Other people put the mask on you and you live up to it. When you live up to the legacy of the mask that somebody else places on you, or because of what you didn't get from when you were a child or younger, if you have a mother father wound and you keep looking for that nurturing, through people through relationships, if you keep trying to seek that out in, if you've got daddy issues and you keep dating daddy, and you keep dating somebody who's that energy, you keep looking for the daddy energy, you keep looking for the love, the support, the things, you're always going to be disappointed and very unhappy. And you're always probably going to be with something that's not your truth, because that is your shadow. That is the essence of your not truest self going into relationships. And that's what you're presenting. So then when your truest self and those parts of the innate of the personality start to show up, they may also run, right? So be aware of that. Be aware of the, and that could be not just female. That's also male energy. So male who has daddy issues may be out seeking and running through that narrative and that story, and still looking for the male approval, and still looking for that dopamine fix, that heart fix, that relationship fix somehow. And all these energies are just so alive right now. I work in energies. I'm not the psychologist, I'm not the doctor, but energy and coaching and those type of things, and being able to work with and trained in trauma, that you just know this energy, because I see it running around everywhere. I see grown adults who are appearing as their not true selves and acting like children. And also that's what the energy has right now. It's because it's trying to get us to break up with those versions of ourselves. It's trying to get us to come into that place of healing, so that we can move forward into a new day, into a new beginning, so that we don't self-sabotage, we don't ruin our relationships, and that we know that we are worth investing into to be able to be here. So it's like honoring that we are all on a journey. We may not all agree, but we all have energy that's happening. So that's our weekend message. I hope it resonates with you, and much love. Have a beautiful weekend, and I will see you next week. Bye-bye.